How's everybody doing tonight? How is everybody doing tonight on this wonderful Saturday night? Now, in today's video, got a little bit of a different video, and tonight I'm going to be talking about my experience and kind of what I learned from going to a Psychlord, a mental hospital. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because I feel like I can maybe share some things that will help others and just give y'all, some advice, man. Just a little, some advice and maybe a little perspective on life. And as you can see, I got a little picture. There's a little something I got from Pinterest, man, and with some very simple words. Nobody is coming to save you, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But starting off though, back in 2022. I'm not gonna get into the full story, honestly, but because I'll be here for a long time if I did. But back in 2022, I had to put a long story short, I had basically a psychosis, and it was dark, man. It was very dark, and I ended up going into a mental hospital. I basically Baker acted myself. I don't know if you guys know what a Baker act means, but it means that someone who is really worried about you, whether it's a friend, family, or even just a random person, they will call 911 or whoever and just say, hey, this person is really mentally, like they're mentally not okay. And then, some police or whoever will take you to a mental hospital, and then, you'll get booked and you'll get put in intensive care, I guess you say, right? And, So November of 2022, I went to my first ever psych ward, and I spent about a weekend there, and, man, I just remember, it was a lot, bro. Like, I remember a lot of that week, but the experience I remember the most was the second time I went into a psych ward. So after I got out in the first week, like, I was still very, I was manic. I'm bipolar. They say I'm bipolar, so I basically had a manic episode, and that's how I ended up in, that's how I ended up in that situation, right? And I really still didn't understand what the hell was going on. I was still very, when you're manic, bro, it's scary because you feel like you're on top of the world, literally, and, it's just, you're not living in reality, if that makes sense. Like, you see life in a very risky perspective, and you take a lot of risk, you spend all your money, you are always talking, like it's crazy, bro. And the hardest part about that is you feel really good, like I can't even explain how good mania can feel, because you're living life, like you just feel like you're on top of the world, bro. It's the best way I can describe it, and it's dangerous because you can end up doing a lot of things that you will regret, and I did for sure. And you can end up feeling a lot of shame after you calm down and get back on the good level, not all the way up there, but so as I was saying, I first got sent to the hospital, the psych ward, in the end of November, and I believe on December, like, because I spent like a few days, probably almost a week. I think in the first week or two in November, December, I was they let me go. All I had to do was I had to see a therapist every week, and just that was like what I had to do after I got out to stay out of intensive care. And then of course I had to start taking medication, which that can be a topic for another video, but and unfortunately, as time went on during December, I really got very, very, really depressed. I got really scared and worried about, everything, and I felt a lot of shame for all the things that I had did during the last week of November when I was manic and having a full-blown nutcase psychosis, And to kind of give you an example, like, I don't know if you guys have ever heard, I'm sure a lot of you have, there's a rapper from Sweden named Young Lean. You know, emotional boys, sad boys, you know what I mean? If you guys know ball, you guys know what I'm talking about. But, you know that bitches come and go, bruh, but you know I stay. You know, that guy. And, really good artist. And, he had kind of a similar thing, you know, like he had a psychosis. And if you guys want, there's a Young Lean documentary on YouTube that, actually, let me see, I'll show y'all right now just to, oh, well, that's Discord. But there's a documentary on YouTube that is actually he explains it really well. You know, he says what happened to him and everything. Young Lean, just so y'all can get a, Young Lean, just so y'all can get an idea. Ooh, that's not how you spell documentary, alright? But yeah, this right here, Young Lean in my head, and in this documentary, he talks about, you know, just his psychosis and what happened, and just to give y'all an idea of what I mean when I say psychosis, you know. But anyways, and yeah, like during that stint in December after I got out, I was just feeling so much shame and just so much shame, really. I used to think it was guilt, but it was just a lot of shame, and I was really depressed, and yeah, it was a dark time for me, man. I'll say that. And then I ended up getting put back into a mental hospital in the end of December. Actually the day after Christmas, I was put back into a mental hospital because my mom took me to a hospital because she just knew, she could just see that I was struggling, bro. Like I couldn't get out of my bed to shower, to brush my teeth, to do nothing. Like I was just, man, it was bad. And you know, a lot of people, like a lot of you guys, or even people in general, will think you guys are depressed, but the key sign to know that you're really severely depressed, like to the point where it's bad, is you can't get out of your bed. Like when someone is, whether it's a loved one or a friend, if you know somebody or even yourself that is just constantly in bed, like in their bed, just sleeping all day and just not leaving, like that's how you know it's bad. Because when I was severely depressed, man, I could not get out of bed, bro. Like I would literally just be at my house and I would just literally try to sleep the day away, literally. And yeah, so I went back into a Psychlord. This time it was a different one though. I didn't go back to the same mental hospital I went to my first time in November. And this experience was really, really kind of crazy to me because it was I'm not going to mention any names, but this was the same mental hospital that my dad had been to a few years back, because he kind of went through something very similar to me, which is crazy to think about. You know, it's just like, damn, that's funny how life works. You know, my dad was at a mental hospital just like me at one point. It's just, I don't know, it's crazy to think about. But when I was there, man, I just remember thinking, like, because I had really dark thoughts in that time, man, and I was thinking, like, man, maybe this is where I'm gonna be forever. Like, maybe I just belong in a mental hospital, and that's such a scary thought to think. But it's just, I really felt like I had something seriously wrong in my head, and yeah, it's hard to explain, guys, I'll be honest. But when I was at that mental hospital, I just remember meeting some of the nicest and sweetest people, like, ever. And mind you, it just, there are a few things happen when you go to a mental hospital. Like, the first thing is you realize that you are truly not alone, even though you may feel so deeply alone. But in reality, like, there's a lot of people that feel the same way you do. Like, they go through a lot of the same struggles you do, you know? And, you know, it's helpful to see that, you know? It's helpful to see, like, oh, wow, I think I have it so bad, but there are people here who have had it so worse. And, you know, it's life, man. Like, we're all figuring it out together, you know? And another thing is, you start to see what matters in life, you know? Because when you're at a mental hospital, bro, and, you know, when you go to bed at night, you you think about other people, man. Like you all you want is to be with your loved ones, and you want love, honestly, bro. You want comfort and you want peace. Like, at least for me, man. I just remember going to bed, and I was just thinking, man, I need a hug, bro. Like, that's like in the end, you really just want love, bro. In my opinion, like, everyone needs and wants, just they want to be appreciated, bro. They want to be loved. They want to be cared for. And another thing that I learned during that time is your mind, like, we suffer more in our mind than we do in reality. And I'm sure a lot of you guys can agree with that. Like, unfortunately or fortunately, our mind can really play a lot of games with us. They can play tricks on us. And, you know, really the negative thoughts that you have in your mind, a lot of them are really simply just bullshit, guys, if I'm being honest with you. And a lot of them are not true. And you have to fight that. Like, you really have to reprogram your mind, because your mind is like a computer. And as you grow up in life and through your childhood, your mind begins to develop these kind of responses to certain things in life. And you just really have to program your mind to be healthy for you, so you can in return be a good person to others, and just to be a good person, period, and to become the best version of yourself. Because I mean, if your mind is very negative and you just always think about negative things, like, your mind will attract that energy, bro. Like, your mind is really a magnet, and it will hurt you, man. And for a long time, even after I was done with all the mental hospitals and shit, and I was home, I was just very negative, man. Like, I just always thought the worst of things. I always thought of the worst of people. I thought, oh, this person doesn't fuck with me. They think I'm, you know what I mean? It's not a way to live, bro. And you really have to, like, program your mind to be positive, man, and to give yourself really a break. Because, as y'all see in this picture, like, nobody's really coming to save you. You have to get up. You have to do things yourself. And I'm not saying that no one really cares for you. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, though, is that everyone has their own issue. Everyone has their own life and their own problems that they have to deal with. And you do, too. Like, you have to deal with your inner self, man. Like, you have to deal with it, and you have to fight. Life is a battle, man. And that's what makes life beautiful, honestly. Like, the battle, the purpose. There are people in this world, guys, all right, and I haven't met them all. I'm not saying I know everyone in the world, but I guarantee you there are people in this world who have everything: money, status, very successful, and they spend their life partying, talking, just vacationing, and that's all good and fun, like, live your life, enjoy it. But deep down, they're not really happy, because they don't have a purpose. They're not really living for anything. And I think that's what makes life meaningful, man, is purpose. You have to find a purpose in life, and you have to, if I'm being honest, you have to believe in something bigger than yourself, man. What fulfills me, man, what brings me peace is God and others, man, and other people. And when I say others, I mean just having friends, family, like, spending time with your loved ones, man, and helping people out. Like, that is what fulfills me, bro. Like, making content. I love doing that, but I like doing it because I like to share experiences and perspectives with people. And I really feel like that God, believing in a God and serving Him, and just believing in something bigger than yourself, it just makes you a nicer person, bro. And it makes you so much stronger, because you're kind of taking the weight out of your shoulders, and you're not living your life in a very self-centered way, if you guys understand what I mean. I don't know how some people live, just not believing in a God, man. Like, really? You guys just think we're just all here by accident? I don't believe that at all. But getting back to the little Psychlord story, I remember because I spent like another week because I went in to urgent care, to intensive care on the day after Christmas, so December 26th, and I got out like on January 2nd or 3rd, one of those 2 days. And I remember when I was spending New Year's in a Psychlord, which is crazy, bro, to say. I was just so down, man. I was so sad. And I remember because I was on like a third or fourth floor in the building, and I remember there was a hallway, right, like a hallway, and there was this window where I could look out and just see, kind of like this picture right here, like there was a window like that where I could see lights and just whatever. I could see the outside world because when you're in a psych ward, bro, you're trapped in, bro. Like they don't let you go outside or nothing, obviously. And I just remember I just started crying, bro. Like I was crying. I was just thinking about kind of everyone I treated badly during my psychosis, and just all the bad shit that had happened. I was really just thinking about the past shit I couldn't change. And I remember this one older woman, sweet girl, sweet lady, man. She saw I was crying, and I remember she went in her room, grabbed a Bible, and started reading me a Bible verse. And in that moment, I just thought, bro, what the hell is she doing? Just leave me alone, let me cry in peace. But looking back, I was like, damn, bro, that's beautiful. I mean, in one of the darkest, lowest times of my life, almost like a guardian angel came down and read me like a Bible verse, And it just goes to show that, at least for me, and I'm sure a lot of people, God will show you signs, bro. Like, God is always there for you. He's always waiting for you to run back to him, man. And no matter how far away from you go, no matter how many times you sin, no matter what your sin is, he's always there for you, man. And in a time where I thought I was really, truly alone, God was there. And that little thing right there, like that lady reading me a Bible verse when I'm in tears crying in a psych ward on New Year's Eve. I don't know, it's just, looking back, man, that's something I will never forget. And one of the greatest kind of verses or quotes from the Bible or God is God, please grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the wisdom and the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Let's do it one more time. God, please grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Like that is a bar, man. Like that shit is a bar, bro. And I feel like a lot of you guys should live like that, like be at peace with the past and the future and the present, just be at peace with it, and accept the things that you cannot change, and have the courage to change the things you can, But yeah, I just remember that, and I'm going on a little rant here. I do this a lot. My bad. I'm sorry, y'all, but I just want you guys to know that because you guys will hit a wall, and I will hit another wall too. Like, there are times in life where you are just going to be blindsided by a very negative or just a bad event, or just a struggle. I'm not even going to say a negative or bad event. I'm just going to say a struggle. Like, you will be faced with a storm, and you will be in that storm. But I want you guys to know that it will pass, And for me, when I was going through that dark time, and it wasn't just in 2022 and 2023, like for 2 years after that, bro, I was just in a dark phase of my life where I was so negative. I was so, like, just down and sad and afraid, really. And I remember thinking that one day I was going to wake up and everything will be okay, and everything will be okay again. But that day will not come unless you put the work in. Like, you have to get up. Like, no one is going to come save you. You guys have to save yourself. And God, a religion, and people you love, they can help you do that, But just remember that, man. Like, the thing that heals all is really time, If I ever see a loved one or a friend or even just a random person I see and know that they're going through a hard time, like, I'll just tell them, like, listen, it'll pass. Like, don't think that this will last forever. Like, it's really just a storm, you just go through it. Don't run from the storm. Just be in it, feel it, accept it, and walk out of it, man. And just go right through it. Don't drain yourself. Don't drain all your energy just thinking that you'll always be sad, that you'll always be down, because you won't, man. And there's a lot of people in all of our lives that really love us unconditionally, and especially God and Jesus, man. Like, there's just some. I just wish people understood how loved and how powerful they really are. Like, every human being on this world has the power to do whatever they want, and anything is possible in this world, man. Anything is. And I wish people understood that, man. Like, you're with like what you can do with your mind and yourself and your body and your soul is amazing, bro. And everyone is capable of it. Like, we are, as one human race, we are all very similar. No matter what job we work, no matter how much money we have, no matter how many kids we have, at the end of the day, we are all very similar, bro. And we're all just people. Like, don't ever think that you're less of a person just because of how much money you make, or what you look like, or who you are, or what your name is. Like, you're not, bro. We're all the same, man. We're all human beings. We are all children of God, just trying to get through life. And it's just, I really want people to understand that, man. And it's just, yeah, man. It's just when you go to a Psychlord, a mental hospital, and you see just, because I'll tell you what, bro, there is some of the nicest, sweetest people that you would never think are suffering on the inside, but they are. I mean, I just remember seeing so many people just beautiful. Like, I remember there was this one girl, bro, at the first mental hospital I was at, and she looked like a princess, bro, like straight out of a Disney movie, and she was so nice, like so caring. And I remember she was there for, I think, like, self-harm. And I remember there was this one evening where me and another guy were sitting on the couch, just talking, and just living, just two humans on a couch in a mental hospital, just talking about whatever, right? And I remember just I looked at her legs, and I just saw a bunch of cuts, man. Like, she just had so many scratches and cuts on her arm and her leg from self-harm, I'm guessing. And I was just like, oh, it makes you feel, it makes you just see that some people just have it way worse than you, bro. And I mean, it makes you feel, it made me feel sympathy for a lot of issues. It made me show a lot of sympathy for a lot of people, Because I remember before that, I was very judgmental of people. I would always be like, man, how can you be this? How can you be sad? How can you be this depressed? Like, just get out of it. It's not that serious. But it made me think, like, man, I understand it now. I understand, because it can be this world can put a lot of stress on you, man. And it can break you. But you'll never truly be broken, though. You can always repair yourself. You can always fix yourself. You, no one else but you. All right. And yeah, man, that's just crazy, man. And what's even crazier, because all that stuff was 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago, damn near, and it doesn't feel like it, man. Honestly, like, I remember, not anymore, but I remember like a year ago, I would still have dreams, and I would be dreaming about me being in the psych ward, because, man, I was so mentally gone during that time, where I just thought, man, I'm gonna live forever in this hospital. Like, I'm just gonna be a lifelong patient. And yeah, man, it is crazy what your mind can do to you, bro. Because at the end of the day, it's just all your mind. And I'll tell you guys what, bro. I remember feeling so lost during that time, and even after I got out of the psych ward. And I just remember feeling so lost and alone. And one of the worst things you guys can do, whether you're going through a bad time in life or a good time, is isolate yourself. Like, that is one thing I really, really recommend you guys do not do, especially when you're young, is isolate yourself. Because when you do that, like, you're closing yourself off to so many good things and helpful things in the world, you know. And when I say isolate yourself, I mean, like, you know, just you don't talk to your friends, you don't really talk to your family, you just stay in your room, stay in your house all day, and you just sit, you kind of like drown in all the negativity and sorrow in your life, you know, and you distract yourself. And that's what I did for a long time after I got out of the mental hospital. Was just I just felt so overwhelmed by everything. You know, I was always thinking about the past, I was always worried about the future, and I was just so, and I would just isolate myself and just, I basically gave up. I gave up on myself in life, you know, and I felt lost. And I'll tell you guys what, bro, when I started really praying and just believing in God and running back to Him and believing in Jesus, my life changed a lot, man, because it helped me live in the present. It helped me realize that life, it's not about me, man. It's really not. It's about others. It's about me being here. It's about me doing what I like to do. It's about me finding my purposes, my passions. And it's about me finding a gift and just giving it away. Like, one of the things that when people are on their deathbeds, when people are living in their last days and their last moments, you know what they all really want, guys? They want to be surrounded by the people they love. I saw his video on Twitter, and it was a guy giving a speech at a college graduation, I think. And you know what? Matter of fact, I'm going to play the video for y'all. I don't think I'm going to get copyrighted either, because I want y'all to really, like, understand this, man. Because he'll explain it a lot better than me. And yeah, I'm going to show it to y'all guys, because it's one of the truest things I've ever heard in my life, and one of the best things I've seen on the internet in a long time. And I'll tell y'all what, man, if you guys can get another thing, like, if try not to be on social media a lot, but if you can't help it, like, try to have a positive For You page, you know, like, try to watch and take in positive content. All right, here it is.
I have stood at the bedside of maybe thousands of people as they took their last breath. What people say in their final moments is pretty important. They don't mess around. When people are dying in their last words, nobody has ever said, Pastor Rick, bring me my trophies. I want to look at them one more time. Or even bring me my college graduation certificate. I want to look at it one more time. When people are dying and they know their time is short, what they want in the room is not things or trophies or achievement. What they want are the people they love. Eventually, we all figure out that it's all about love. It's all about relationships. I just pray you'll figure it out a whole lot sooner. That it's not about achievement. That it's not about fame. That it's not about fortune. That it's not about all the things that you dream of accomplishing in life. Those are great goals.
Yeah, great goals.
But Paul says, without love, I am nothing. I am sounding brass and tinkling cymbal. If I have not love, I'm nothing.
And I hope that isn't corny to y'all, but it's true, bro. You know, and what even really rings true to me, and how I really can, like, relate to that is, I remember when my dad, because he passed away when I was 17 back in 2021, so basically 5 years ago, which is crazy to think about. I remember I asked my mom, like, if he ever, like, knew, because he was in the hospital for a little bit with COVID and he was sick. And I remember asking my mother, I was like, you know, did he ever, like, tell you, like, he thought it was, you know, like, it was his last few days, you know, did he ever tell you that? And she just said, like, you know, I do remember there was this one night where he told me that if he was going to die, he wanted to be at home with his kids, with the people he loved. And, you know, it proved to me, man, like, that is what life is all about, bro. It's about others. It's about love. It's about the people we love. And it's about a loving God. And Just understand that, guys. So whenever you're feeling down and you're feeling overwhelmed, don't be scared, man. Don't let fear run your life. Like you run your life, and just remember that. Life is a lot deeper than you. All right, it's a lot deeper than you, man. And when you're on your last days, when you're on your last breaths, you want to feel like you truly lived and experienced a life full of love, peace, prosperity, and God. And you want to feel like you left a positive mark on the world, man. You want to feel like you took care of people, you served people, you loved people, you helped people. Like that is something that money cannot buy. That is something that will fulfill you, bro. Is God and serving others, And I hope a lot of people can see that perspective, and share that perspective and mindset, because everyone's different, Some people will think what they're meant for in life is way different, but that's what I think we're here for, man. That's what I think I'm here for, is just to serve God and to love others, bro, and to help others, and be the best version of myself. And, just do it, man. Be you. Be the best version of yourself, man. You're good enough. You're enough. You are somebody. Don't think you're a nobody, no matter what you do in life. All right? Just because you're not the richest person in the world, just because you're not the most famous person in the world, just because you're not the whatever, the best at this, the best at that, you're still somebody, bro, and you're enough. And you always have been somebody. You always have been. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody but yourself and God. All right? So, take a chance on God, man, and take a chance on yourself, all right? And remember, God and Jesus love you, man, unconditionally, all right? And remember, nobody is coming to save you. Get up, all right? There's going to be a lot of days, and you do not have these days, where sometimes I don't want to get up. Sometimes I just want to, just throw in the towel. But I think it's like, do I want to go back to the life I used to have a couple years ago, where I would just lay in bed all day and not progress, not evolve, not change, and not help people, and not help myself, and not serve God, and not live my life to the fullest? Or am I going to get up and just fight, man, and give it my all, and chase my dreams, and chase your dreams, and chase your passions, and really live, and live. Forget all of this, bro. Just live, all right? All right, y'all. I hope this little video, actually, it's probably a long video. I talked for a lot here, but I hope this video helped y'all a little bit, and I hope some of the advice I give will help you all. And if my words and my advice can help one person and bring one person closer to God, I am happy, man. All right, and hope y'all enjoyed, man. I like making these kind of videos where I just sit here and yap and share my, some of my experiences, and be vulnerable too, because I'm not perfect, bro. No one's perfect, and that's what makes life beautiful, is finding the beauty, is finding the good in imperfection, But yeah, man. Hope you all have a great Saturday night, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the weekend. All right. Enjoy, and if you guys watch football, enjoy the Super Bowl. And I know the Olympics have started, the Winter Olympics, or not the Winter Olympics, whatever. I know the Olympics have started. So yeah, man, if you guys like that, I hope y'all enjoy it, and prayers up for everyone in the world and all the athletes, And yeah, man, just be grateful, man. Be grateful for another day of life. Be appreciative under God. Be humble. Be positive. Spread love. Spread peace. And make people listen to people. A lot of people want to be listened to. Make people feel safe. Make people feel loved. Make them feel seen. All right. People like feeling seen, man. All right. And yeah, I love you all, man. Hope you guys have a great weekend. And if this is the last video you ever see on my channel, I hope you guys have a great life, man. I know you will. And, run back to God, all right? Believe in something bigger than yourself, Give your mind, body, and soul to something you believe in, to your God. And love others, man. Serve others, Be a good person. And treat people the way you want to be treated, all right? All right, y'all. And if y'all enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. All right. More ASMR content is gonna be coming soon. All right. All right. Peace out, though, y'all.